Good afternoon, class. Actually, it's still morning. I just got an early start today. But anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. But let me talk a little bit about your discussion board 3. Now it has been graded, and so that's all taken care of. But a few things that I think that you need to keep in mind. Number one, by now, really, we should have the footnote forms down properly. So I really need all of you to look at the comments that I made on your discussion boards and just take note of the forms. Go to the SOD writing manual, School Divinity writing manual, and look for the proper forms. And I did send an attachment last week about the proper way to cite the Black and Beck book. And many of you did cite that properly, but some of you, I guess you didn't look at that email. And so, you just have to take note of my comments, but also the emails that I send out. Anyway, the grades are good. I think that you guys are doing a much better job in being detailed and thorough, as well as in trying to really critically evaluate in the replies and try to add substantive feedback. So well done, guys. I can see steady improvement in many of you. Now this week, we've got a discussion board as well as another quiz. So I think that many of you will do better on this quiz simply because you kind of have a better idea of how the quiz is going to be. So study hard, carve out time to read and to study and review. I think that you guys will do great. So now the discussion board we had this week, now we kind of get into not only the life of Paul, but also into some of the letters. So I think that many of you will begin to really get maybe a little bit more motivated as we study Paul's letters. And, people are often more familiar with the letters and enjoy reading them and learning more about them. And so this week, make sure with the first question, it really asks about Paul's life. Make sure you give all the details of his background, his education, his family, occupation, all those different types of things. A lot of times, also the missionary journeys, just answer that thoroughly. Now, one of the parts of that question that students often neglect to read carefully about is Paul's missionary strategy. So pay special attention this week as you read, looking for what was Paul's missionary strategy. The next question really has to do with Ed Sanders and what is known as the new perspective. Now, with that question, of course, just answer the different aspects of the question, but make sure you thoroughly define what is the new perspective and what does he call his new perspective on Paul, and just kind of walk us through it. What are the contributions that Sanders made with the new perspective, but what are some of the limitations? So give a good critique of his perspective. Now, the next question really begins to talk about the occasion of Galatians, really. And so the purpose and occasions. Now, a lot of times students will, they'll do the occasion or the purpose. And they're two different things. Now, sometimes, obviously, they're very related. However, the occasion for Paul writing a letter is often different from the purpose. Now, as I just stated, sometimes they are very much related. However, I want you to articulate the differences, okay? So make sure you cover that. And then all the other aspects of that question, making sure that you clearly note, what is Paul's purpose with Galatians and how does he go about making that purpose happen. But I think that you'll see that it's pretty clear from the reading. Now, the last question that you have to answer that you can choose two from, is about the Northern Galatian theory versus the Southern Galatian theory. Now, the main oversight that students have with this particular question is they oversimplify the Northern Galatian theory. In other words, they don't often give me all of the reasons why people hold to the Northern Galatian theory. So make sure you line out all the reasons why the Northern Galatian theory is proposed by some. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to choose that one, but it does mean you have to explain it thoroughly. And then, of course, the Southern Galatian theory will be a little bit more easy probably to define and explain. But anyway, then just choose which one you think best, is the best solution. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great week. Please research for your paper. It's coming, and it's coming fast. We're really kind of to the halfway point, and so that's good. But you got to keep pushing through, working hard, and you guys will do well. But do some research, start doing some writing, just work at least a little bit every week on your paper, whether that's reading, taking notes, or doing research, something, because it'll be here and you don't want to be really panicked. Guys, as always, I'm here. Shoot me an email if you need any help, and I'll be more than happy to help in any way that I can. All right? You guys have a great week.